Form 1 online admission policy remains. That is, Principal Secretary Dr. Bello Kipsang issued instructions yesterday indicating on how the Form 1s, as they report today, they should be processed by the head teachers in the schools that they report to. The details of a candidate or a student not be in the system, that is the National Education Management Information System, then they will not be admitted. Of course, this has caused quite some uproar. And beginning with you, Professor Mugambi, we're seeing these declarations from the ministry saying that we want to ensure that there is 100% transition. We want to ensure that people using the back door to gain access to schools. Do you think we'll be in a position to do it? Of course, there has been a lot of contestations from several parents and even several quarters, even including politicians. Do you think we'll win in the next 5 days?
First of all, I want to say that this is wholly a very good system, because, you know, it enables the government to track how many students do we have, where are they, for purposes of planning, for purposes of scholarships, for purposes of helping all manner of, you know, issues within the schools. However, the problem has been or is with its implementation. Because, you know, first of all, in terms of admission, there was a real problem, because there were students, some of them were admitted to schools far, very far, day schools, very far from their home areas. That's number one. Number two, in some instances, some students who are actually boys were admitted to girls' schools and vice versa. So those are, you know, complex issues which need to be sorted out. Number three, I think the ministry needs to do more in terms of sensitizing parent system. Because more often than not, you find that a student who is in Busia is called to a school in Kwale. And this is a student who comes from...
Is there a problem if it's a national school?
There's no problem. But the students, I mean, the parents need to be educated to know this. There is no problem. Because where are we coming from and where are we going? So the ministry needs to invest more in sensitizing parents, the public, about all these things. And look, so that we are coming from a situation where we think all of us can fit in Alliance High School, in Limuru Girls High School. But these are Kenyan schools which have been staffed with, you know, graduate school teachers from qualified universities, you see, certified universities. So we need to teach, first of all, our parents about that. Number two, we need to work on this system. Because as I speak, and as of Friday, actually, many of these parents, which the ministry says have received letters, actually for placement after complaints, have not received those letters.
Really?
And that is the real problem. The PS talks about, you know, those ones they have received around, is it 36,000 or so students who have applied afresh after, you know, being allocated their slots. But I can tell you, from where I sit, those parents have not received their letters up to date. What does that mean? They don't have time to prepare. Parents need to know what the school fees is, what to buy for which school, because schools are not the same. And if the to change those schools have been granted, that has not happened up to date.
And of course, just for your information, what we know is that out of the 103 national schools, there will be 31,000 candidates or students admitted there. 531 extra county schools, there will be 120,000 candidates or students admitted there. And then for the county schools, that is 1,036 schools, there would be 140,000 students will be joining those schools. And these are the ones that are affected by this directive by the ministry, that they can only be admitted from through NEMIS, and their letters of admission were to be dispatched from that. Look at this, Mheshimiwa Elachi, and of course, in light of what he has just said, we have this culture of, I want my child to go to a certain school, and so when they are not sent to that school by the system, it's chaos. Even as he talks about sensitization of these parents, how then do we ensure that, ensuring this nationhood, but also the preference of the children and parents?
You know, one of the things, I'll give you an example as I start. I have a daughter somewhere in Kawangware with 341. She was called to a day school in Kitui. What is the parent supposed to do? I don't know whether to rent a house in Kitui. I have another one with 391, who, when you look at the school, you even wonder, why didn't you just give her a county school? So for me, it is not how you're admitting. It is there are some parents who don't even have the fare to get to where you have decided.
How does that happen?
Wait first. You don't even have the transport, and you are trying to pray to God, let me just have a school within Bungoma County, where I know better, where I can be able to get to the school when I'm called. But now when you're taking a child in Kilifi, Bungoma to Kilifi, and you're expecting this parent, surely, to be in Kilifi and ensure you have dropped the child to that school. Really, it is unfair. So, for me, I would want us to first accept that while we have national schools, we know they are there, schools. But there are some parents who even are not fighting for national schools. Their children have passed very well, but they are saying, give us county schools where we understand. If I cannot get where I live in Kakamega, then give me in Busia where I can just move, or in Kisumu. But now when you move me beyond Nairobi, and you expect me to go to Meru to this school, surely it is not fair to that parent. While we know very well that many parents prefer nearby schools just because of money. But if they had the money, some parents will not complain. They will take their children to wherever they're called. The biggest challenge is poverty in our country. Right. And until the ministry must understand, that is why people prefer where they can walk or take a boda and get to the school. But now when you come and put in a new system, which is a good system, we are not complaining, but then the system within those counties.
But now, because the ministry says that it's trying to stem corruption, because they say that there are certain principals who've been selling these admission letters, and if you speak to parents, they'll tell you that actually they were asked to pay a certain amount, deposit in the bank, and also pay their school fees forthwith, sort of trying to stop this. So how do you balance those very interests that she has spoken about vis-a-vis ensuring that you have streamlined the process of managing education in the country?
I think the Ministry of Education is just becoming very lazy. This ministry is properly represented at sub-county level. We have sub-county director of education. We have county directors of education. What is their role? If they do not trust their own officers or the grassroots, then let them dismiss them. Then two, you know, I have even told parents in my constituency, those who cannot afford to take their children where they've been offered admissions, let them go to any nearby secondary school in my constituency. Let them make application, as long as they qualify and they're able to pay school fees, then my office, I'll try to follow up. That is why I was elected. And I will not accept any teacher who will refuse to give admission to a child from my constituency on the basis of this nonsense of enemies, blah, blah, blah. Because let me tell you something. Today, if it were that you go to apply to a school, the teacher will give you an outright answer. Yes, I will give you a position or I will not. So that the parents goes home to plan himself. But here is not where you are just uploading something on some system and the people told you, no, we are not issuing any letters. We will wait from Nairobi. A parent is waiting blindly, doesn't know whether they come by North Rift, will come by bus or tomorrow or next week.
So the letter is to be downloaded.
For it to, but I mean, do some parents know that?
They don't know.
We have parents who even don't know how a cyber looks like.
Right.
We have those parents. They don't know.
And there are very many, actually.
Very many of them.
Okay.
So what we are saying that the ministry will spend much of her time into developing policies that will add value into the education, not these populist policies should be uploading, should be where they have, look at the way banks operate. Central bank monitors hold the operations of small banks.
Right.
Does people go to deposit money in the central bank? The money is deposited in the bank. You are managed by your personal relationship manager at the local branch level. You know, at the end of the day, Central Bank really is aware.
Okay.
So I want to tell Amina that she can be aware of what is happening in her ministry by not necessarily controlling everything.
All right.
She's making sub-county directors, county directors lose their job. What is their role?
Okay, all right, Mheshimiwa, you made your point.
But also,
yes, Mheshimiwa.
for example, in Nairobi, we have, yes, you've taken all the schools in Nairobi are national schools. Can we have a class of a county? Because this, where do you want students of Nairobi to go? Yet they've got 341, 391, 411. They are looking for county schools. They have none. You prepare a class. Prepare one class in Kenya High for county, so that the kids within 380 or 360 going up can enter school.
Right.
But this thing of just giving Nairobi a blackout, and you just want now their parents to run all over, their kids have performed well, but they have no county school because all the schools of Nairobi became national schools. It's not fair for Nairobi students also.
Right, and of course you'll be...
And parents.
That's a conversation. We'll be joining schools. And of course the other important conversation will be touching about the new curriculum. The rollout is on day 3 today. We'll be talking later on to Dr. Julius John, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the KICD, to really tell us about that. But